My name is Daja, and I hope you find serenity.
I hope you find serenity. I hope you find serenity.
Child, have I got a story for y'all. Peace, greetings, and welcome. Thank you. Welcome back for those of you who are watching my channel. Like, I don't know why, but I'm grateful. And I'm super grateful for all the messages that I receive from people who follow me here and are feeling inspired and just connecting and resonating with the stories that I'm sharing. You know, it makes me feel very understood, very seen, very heard, and I'm grateful for that. So I have to acknowledge it. All right, y'all. I had an experience, and it feels very necessary to share it in this space. So the other day, some of our friends that are DJs invited us to this party, not far from where my farm is actually. And so me and a couple of my friends went. Like, we are a really chill group of people. Like, normally I go to bed 8:30, 9 p.m. So it's very rare to catch me going out late. The last time I went out to a party, I actually did a vlog, the boat party. So if you go back on my channel, you can find that. It's called A Day in My Life. But yeah, so I felt called to go out, and our friends were DJing. I knew they were going to play some good music, because that's one of the things, like the problem with the last party, like it's common here to play a lot of like electronic, and you know, I personally am not a fan. I want to hear hip hop, trap music, maybe a little pop or something, definitely some dance hall, some reggae, you know, some Afro beats. That's my personal flavor for dancing, for gathering. And so yeah, but they said they was gonna play some reggae and some dance halls. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna pull up on y'all. Y'all better not leave me hanging. And it wasn't too much of the music that I liked for too long, but we had a good chunk of time when we got to dance and have a good time. So that's fun. And that's totally not even what this story is about. I don't know. I'm just trying to paint a picture here and just basically sharing about the day in general. It was fun. But anyways, I wanted to give you the premise of this is what I was doing before this experience happened. I was at this party. We danced, we chatted, we had fun. We knew everybody there because it's a really small town. And we did not drink any alcohol. I did not drink a sip of alcohol. All I was drinking was water, and I was smoking ganja, but that's normal for me. And so we stepped outside to smoke. It was our second time in the night stepping outside to smoke, and it was like maybe 11:30. We were getting ready to leave, and we saw some other friends. We were standing in a circle outside by my friend's car, like smoking and chatting. And one joint went around, and then another came around, and I hit this one just once. And I passed it because I was already pretty high. And I was like, in that moment, I started to feel kind of lightheaded. And this is something that I've experienced in my life only twice. And the other two times I hadn't been smoking, but I have fainted twice in my life. And both times were pretty close together during college. And so I started to feel that feeling, like getting really lightheaded, like as if I might faint, which was weird. And I thought in the moment, I was like, damn, I shouldn't have hit the J again. So I went and I sat on the like bumper of my friend's truck, because they were on the side of the car. So I went to the back of the car and I just sat there and leaned on the car for stability. And I started to feel so lightheaded, like my whole head was hot and my ears were hot. And I was, you know, breathing, and I was looking out into the road with all the trees, and I stopped being able to see. Like, I could feel like everything started to trickle away, and I couldn't see anything. And again, my head is like it's exploding. I couldn't see anything. I felt like if I really let myself go, that I would just completely pass out. So I just put my hands on my knees, and then, you know, I was leaning up against the car, right? So I was leaning like this. So I had my hands down here, like below my knees, and I kept putting my head down like this. Like, that's what was making the pressure go away. I kept leaning down like this. That just feels good also in this moment. It's good to be upside down. But anyways, I needed that. I really needed that because I could feel like everything was in my head. I knew in that moment, okay, I need to ground to feel better. And this shit hurts. Like, all the while I'm trying to be, you know, calm and not freak out, because the part when I couldn't see anymore, I was like, oh shit. And I kept thinking, should I say something to my friends? Like, should I ask them to get me some water or something? Or should I say, I'm going through something right now, like I feel like I'm gonna faint? But the idea of saying it felt like too much effort in the moment. I was like, I feel like that's just gonna be too much. Like, I'd rather just be quiet and stay right here. Like, I didn't want to move. I didn't even want to make the effort of speech. I just wanted to get grounded. And I also was telling myself, I need to take my shoes off. I need to take my shoes off to get grounded. So it took me about a minute because my head was hurting so bad. So then I took my shoes off and I started to ground, and I started looking through my purse for a crystal because I thought, oh, holding a crystal will be good for grounding too. But I didn't have any crystals in my bag. I had just taken them out because the night before was the full moon, and I had it was still the full moon, but I had all my crystals out. So they were not in my purse anymore. So I picked up a rock off the ground. I just felt called to one. I was just holding it in my hand, and I was like just grounding. And I kept leaning down. Every time I sat up for a little while, I started to feel it again. So I kept leaning down. And I tried doing some breath work practices, like a grounding breath work. But that made me feel more like, oh shit, I didn't even see my earring was like, but the breathing, the breath work started to make me feel too high. So I was like, okay, breath is not what I need. I need to get connected to the earth. So instead, I just kept like kind of rubbing my legs, touching the ground, like leaning my head all the way down, holding my head upside down. And that was what was making me feel better. That was relieving all the pressure. And as I was doing that, I had my eyes closed, and because I couldn't see shit. When my eyes were open, I couldn't see anything, y'all. I fully went blind. I fully was blind. Like, I saw everything trickle away to complete darkness. And when I opened my eyes, I couldn't see shit. But when I closed my eyes, I was seeing all of these psychedelic patterns and colors. It was like, well, it was sacred geometry that I was seeing. So at the first image I remember was actually like an eye. It's kind of like, you know, sometimes if you have a flash of light and then you close your eyes, you can still see the light. It was something like that, but instead of seeing both of my eyes, I was just seeing one. And it was like, you know, everything was light. It was made out of light, and like the outer shape was like a white light, and then there was like an orange circle around the black pupil, but it was all bursting with light. And then that kind of opened up into this other eye that had like a purple pupil, and then it had the seed of life all over it, the black seed of life all throughout the pupil. And then it turned into this other eye where the pupil was like this beautiful beach scene, like with waves and the big sun and this blue sky. And like, I just kept seeing sacred geometry, and it was beautiful. Like, all the while I'm like feeling, you know, a little vulnerable because I'm just out, and like my friends are right here having a whole conversation. I'm like having this weird psychedelic experience, and I'm like, oh my God, like. And I did sit with a mushroom ceremony the night before, but I microdosed for the ceremony, meaning I actually took like less than a quarter of a gram. So a quarter is 0.25 gram. I probably took like a 0.15 or something around there. Maybe a 0.2 of a gram of mushrooms. So a very small amount the night before, while I was sitting with some other people who were taking a larger dose. So in that moment too, I thought maybe it was like the after effects of the mushrooms as well, because when I'm on mushrooms, I do close my eyes and see, like, you know, symbols and sacred geometry sometimes. But this was the most vivid image I've ever had. It was so clear and so colorful. Like, everything was so colorful. And it felt like definitely a sign. But for me, after I finally was feeling like I was coming back to myself, after I let myself see that and I continued to just ground and keep putting my head down, I slowly started to feel better. And as soon as I felt fully better, because I kind of went in and out of feeling better and feeling the relief and feeling like, oh no, this kind of episode is still happening. But when it finally cleared, that was right when my friends started to break, and 2 of them were going to leave. So they were saying bye to me, and I just said bye. I didn't even say nothing in that moment. But then when we were all about to leave, they were like, you ready? And I was like, yo, I'm back here having an experience, y'all. Like, nobody knew, but I was back there going through it. And it felt afterwards like, oh my God, did I just have a vision? Like on my That's So Raven shit, like, was that a vision? Like, I mean, it was a vision because I saw it. You know, I did have a vision, but I never had such an intense experience. Like, I no longer was thinking it was about even the ganja, even though ganja does facilitate these things to happen. I was like, it wasn't that I was too high. Like, literally something, you know, happened. And I had and it was intense for me because I've never had an experience like that so clear. And lately I've been doing things that felt like they were unlocking psychic powers, you know? I've been feeling that, and I've even got a tarot reading from a friend recently who was talking about, like, yeah, me really getting into my esoteric gifts. And that's why I'm in my time of solitude here and deeply immersed in nature, because this is the time for me to, like, really deeply be initiated into my gifts. Whoo! Child. And it was intense. But afterwards, I kept thinking about this eye. I'm even thinking about it when I'm seeing this yin and yang in this. But I kept thinking about this eye, you know. I wanted to see more. Oh, and I also saw the eye. Oh wait, this was the night after when I started to, like, I microdosed again, and I wanted to kind of think about the vision because I wanted to understand, you know, what that meant. I was like, what does that mean? Like, why did I have that vision? So I microdosed the next night as well. And when I started to just think about it, think about my vision, remember it, and see what the medicine, if the medicine wanted to show me anything else. And I saw the body of a turtle, and on the back of the turtle was the eye again. And, you know, for those of you who don't know, like, you know, the Americas are called Turtle Island. You know, the North America, you know, which is where I'm from, is called Turtle Island. And something I've been thinking about recently because I was rewatching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and yeah, thinking about, like, us being from Turtle Island and the island and the I and I, the oneness, and oh, so many things. There's so many things that it made me think about. And I talked to some friends about it. One of my friends said it could have been like, or it sounds like to her, a light code download, which makes sense. It did feel like a download because it was like it was showing me things, and it didn't feel like it was telling me to do an action. It felt like it was just an opening within my own psyche that I've been feeling super open to lately. So it does make perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. And all my life, I've been really into drawing the one eye. Like, since I was very, very young. That's all through my notebooks. All my life, I actually have an eye tattoo on the back of my neck. Like, the eye on my neck has a spiral in it. So, yeah, it felt significant. It felt powerful. And I'm not going to lie. At first, I was like, oh, I need to figure out, like, how can I go through it again so that I can, like, get deeper into it. But I'm realizing, like, just like there, like, I wasn't expecting it at all. I was completely unexpecting. I was fully in another energy, like, just socializing and happy and whatever, like, tired because it was late and I was ready to sleep. And then I had this experience. Yeah. I need to journal about it. I don't have really more words for it anymore, but I definitely want to hear what y'all think. And I want to know if any of you have had a similar experience so that we can share stories and go deeper here, or send me stories that you may have heard like this. I'm super open, especially to elders in the, like, you know, esoteric and spiritual community, other mystical Black women elders. I'm super open to learning and hearing your stories. So if this video finds you, find me. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. We're live from the farm. I'm gonna start doing all my videos out here in the yard. I've been sitting in the grass a lot lately. There's my little house. I'm normally inside when I make my videos. But it's summer in Costa Rica, so I've been spending a lot of time sitting on the earth. And it's been good. And even my last retreat, I slept in my tent, so I was on the earth every night. And the retreat before that, I also slept on the ground. So it's like I've been deep in the earth lately. That could have something to do with it. Angel? Venga! Angel's always doing some shit. All right, y'all. Monkeys. Angel's being a dog. There are monkeys jumping through the trees. All is well. All is good in this hood. I pray all is well for you. Peace.
I hope you find